Today we are going to talk about Redux. So first of all, what is Redux? So Redux is an open source JavaScript library for managing and centralizing application state. It is also called a predictable state container for JavaScript applications. So Redux is not just for React, but it can be used for any framework like Angular, Vue, or even vanilla JavaScript. So now, why are we talking about Redux in the middle of our project? Because there will be a time when we will have difficulty in storing the state of all our components. For example, this is the model of our present app, and we are sharing data among these three components simultaneously. So if we write the code manually for this, then it is going to be a little difficult to maintain. So this job is done by Redux. Basically, there may be data that will be updated due to network requests or some background tasks. So if we write code for that manually and try to keep a track of that, then this will be a little hectic. So for that, Redux is our savior. Basically, Redux can be used as a data store for any UI layer. So instead of using and storing the state of each individual component inside our React, we will store all the state inside the JavaScript object inside Redux known as store. And whenever any of these components require the data, then the store will provide it to them individually. So basically, Redux stores the state of our app. What do I mean when I say state of an app? We have seen state of components, but what do I mean when I say state of our app? So it is that state that all the individual components represent in the app. For example, if in a shopping cart we change the state of a product from add to cart to checkout counter, so there, that is what I'm trying to say when I say state of an app. So it includes the UI logic as well as the data. In any JavaScript application, the state can change. So the product in the shopping cart can be removed or can be checked out for payment. So Redux keeps a track of that state. Let us understand this a little bit more. For example, our component E has an attribute named counter, and now the component D wants to use counter. So for that, we are going to lift the state and then we will pass counter to the parent element, that is A, and after that we are going to pass it to D as props. Similarly, if any of the other components like B or H require counter or have to access counter, then again we will have to lift the state and pass it to a parent component app, and then from there they will be accessing it through props. So in this way we will have to write a lot of code, and each of these components will have to know about counter even if they do not require any information about counter. So this can be a little hectic if we just use ReactJS to do it, but we can do it easily using Redux. So Redux will store the counter inside the object that is called store, and then any of these components can access it. Using Redux directly can be a little difficult to understand, so React and Redux come together to form the React Redux library. It is the official Redux UI binding library for React. So you can use React and Redux UI library easily without having the worries to understand Redux. So it will be a lot more easier to use React Redux together. Now let us talk about the advantages of using Redux React or Redux. So first of all, Redux is predictable state changes. That is, it can predict about the changes we make inside our application. There are tools that will help us to keep a track of what changes have we done inside our app, what product from our shopping cart was deleted, what was added, and when the payment was made. All this data is stored inside the Redux, and then we can easily see those changes. Redux simply provides a subscription mechanism which can be used by any other code. It helps us to write apps that behave consistently and run in different environments, client side, server side, and even native. And they're very easy to test. Next point is centralized state. It centralizes the app's state and logic. It enables powerful capabilities like undo, redo, state persistence, etc. And the debugging is really easy. It is also known as the time travel debugging. It can track where, when, why, and how your app's state changes. So that is the biggest advantage of using Redux. It is also flexible, works with any UI layer, and has a large ecosystem of add-ons to fit to our needs. It also preserves page state. It has the undo and redo feature, that is, if I deleted a product from my cart by mistake, I can undo that and I can get that product back into my cart. So see you in the next video.